Calverton looks peaceful today. Quiet fields, old stone walls, the kind of place you'd never expect a murder story to come from. But back in 1694, this little Buckinghamshire village was the scene of one of the area's most notorious crimes. Today we're going back to the year 1694, to a murder that shocked the parish, left a permanent mark on the landscape, and became one of the darkest tales in local history. This is the story of Grace Bennett, the feared lady of Calverton, and the butcher who killed her. To understand what happened, you have to picture Calverton as it was in the late 1600s. No cars, no modern houses, just a manor, a church, a handful of cottages, and miles of farmland. The manor, now Calverton Manor Farm, was the centre of everything, and the woman who ruled it was Grace Bennett. Simon Bennett died in 1682 and left his wife Grace a most prodigious estate. Lady Grace Bennet wasn't the warm, generous lady of the manor you might imagine from period dramas. People described her as mean, tight-fisted, and she was feared by the villagers, having anyone found gathering firewood on her land severely beaten. One story suggests that to test her gamekeepers, she disguised herself as a poor villager and began to collect firewood. A keeper swiftly pounced, and feigning ignorance of his victim's identity, he then proceeded to administer a sound and thorough thrashing. Rumours began to spread that Grace Bennett kept a fortune hidden somewhere inside the manor. Gold, silver, jewels, nobody knew for sure. And one man listened a little too closely. Adam Barnes, a butcher from Stony Stratford, a man with debts and a dangerous imagination. On the night of September 19th, 1694, Barnes broke into Calverton Manor. He crept through the servants' rooms searching for anything valuable. But Grace wasn't asleep. She confronted him in the dark hallway. There was a struggle, sudden, frantic, violent, and Grace Bennett was killed. Barnes panicked and ran. He scrambled over the orchard wall and escaped down this track, Gib Lane, a packhorse track that still runs across the fields and past all the new houses in Fairfields up to Watling Street. Barnes was arrested and taken to Stony Stratford. His trial wasn't held in a grand courtroom, it took place in a small upstairs room at the Cross Keys Inn. The evidence was overwhelming. Barnes confessed, the jury found him guilty, and the sentence was death. Barnes was hanged, but that wasn't the end of it. His body was placed in irons and displayed on a gibbet along Gib Lane, the same route he used to escape. For months his corpse hung there, exposed to the weather and the birds. A grim warning to anyone passing by. More than 3 centuries later, the story hasn't disappeared. The manor, as Manor Farm, still stands, and many of the old walls are still there. A mysterious carved stone depicting the gibbets and the date 1693 remains part of local folklore. And the ghosts of Grace Bennett and Adam Barnes are said to still haunt Gib Lane. So next time you're near Calverton, remember that beneath the calm surface lies a story of greed, fear, and brutal justice. A story that proves even the quietest villages can hide the darkest secrets. If you enjoyed this video, please visit the channel to see some more, and subscribe to hear more stories as they are published.